My name is Kendra Luco. I am a registered veterinary technologist and the social media specialist here at the Vancouver Aquarium Marine Mammal Rescue Society. And with me I have...
I'm Lindsay Ackerst, the Senior Manager of the Vancouver Aquarium Marine Mammal Rescue Society.
That is a mouthful.
It really is. We'll just say VAMMR.
VAMMR, that is
forward.
us.
Yeah.
So welcome. Thank you for joining us. We are really excited to kick off this new Q&A series where you guys ask us all your burning questions and we hopefully can answer as many of them as possible. If you enjoy this format, let us know because we'd love to continue it and maybe do some more specific themes. Speaking of which, we wanted to quickly take a second to just address why we aren't answering all of the very specific sea otter questions that came in. So while we do work in partnership with the Vancouver Aquarium and their team comes here to help us when we do admit sea otter pups, we're actually two separate facilities. So once one of those otters is deemed non-releasable and is transferred to the aquarium, that's sort of where our involvement ends for the most part. So some of your more specific questions about who's in which enclosure and who's best friends with who and favorite toys and that kind of things. We're not the best people to answer them because we no longer work with those pups and now adult otters every single day. But like I said, if you enjoy this video, if you like the Q&A style, if you want to see one that is specific to those otters, let us know in the comments. We will invite one of the trainers or multiple of the trainers over and we will put up another question box for all of your sea otter questions and make sure they all get answered. But for now, let's kick it off with a regular sea otter question. Sea otters smelly?
No.
They don't really have a scent.
No. I mean, even, yeah, they don't.
They don't. Overall, what kind of health complications could animals face when they come into the rescue center? Why do we rescue some of the animals that we do?
There's many of health complications that the animals come in with to our rescue center, but majority of our patients are actually harbor seal pups, and the majority of those have been separated from their mums. Small wounds, predation sometimes boat strikes. So each case is obviously quite different. And then some of the larger animals we're seeing many different things from cancer cases to boat strikes to, oh my goodness, like
human interaction.
Human interaction is a huge
unfortunately
thing.
Have seen things like gunshots and other injuries caused by humans, which are always kind of the worst ones to when they come in to deal with and realize that humans are the ones that caused it.
I know. Those are the worst cases, but we're also very fortunate to be able to bring those animals in and hopefully return them back out once they're better.
What inspired you to get into this line of work?
What inspired me to get into this work? Well, it's the classic, I was a kid who grew up on a small farm, hobby farm, who always loved to work with animals. Always knew I was going to work with animals, but I had no idea it'd be marine mammals. I went to tech school and knew I wanted to work in clinic, but, maybe wanted something a little bit different. So did an internship down at PAWS Wildlife Rehab Center in Washington. I really loved the rehab side of things and the wildlife. And then came here as a summer job. And 19 years later, I'm still here. It's the classic thing. And I know a lot of us say this. It's the animals that brought us into this place. But for me, it's also the people that keep me here too.
We're pretty great.
We're pretty great.
We're really cool around here.
Yeah. Our volunteers are amazing. These are people that are coming in for 5-6 hour shifts. Sometimes when we're on 24 hours, they're here around the clock, dealing with us, helping us in all sorts of ways, and just amazing people to work with. Staff, they're okay too. Animals are great, but the people are even better.
Yeah. Good one.
Thanks.
That was pretty good. If anyone's wondering how I was inspired.
Kendra. Now, coming back to you, Kendra, how were you inspired to come into this
I did
industry?
not grow up on a farm, but I did grow up very close to the beach. So I spent a lot of time with my parents down tide pooling and spending time on the water, and my dad would take me to look for whales and all that good stuff. So same thing. I always knew I wanted to work with animals, but again, wasn't aware at the time that it would be marine mammals. I did work in Australia for a little bit doing sea turtle rescue and rehab. And then around the time that I was coming home from that trip, we were hiring here, and same thing, summer seasonal job. I think everyone here has usually started off by doing a few summers when it's really busy, and then that turned into an eventual full-time position, and
here we are.
Now they're never going to get rid of me. Yeah, so
we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. Are otters as fluffy and cuddly as they look? And if so, how soft are they?
Wow. Fluffy, yes. Cuddly, not so much. Many of the animals that come to our rescue center obviously are rehabilitation animals. So we try to keep them as far as possible away from us from the cuddling zone. Of course, we are handling them and we're grooming them and feeding them and things. So that is where we try to keep most of the handling too. Are they as soft as they look? They're probably even softer.
They really are.
They really are.
They're so soft. So speaking of volunteers, we obviously have a lot of them. How can people get involved? Do they have to live here? Can they just come volunteer for the day? Can you tell us a little bit about volunteering?
So we have a robust volunteer program. We have over 200 volunteers that volunteer with us, from everything from outreach to our animal care and everything else in between. An amazing group of volunteers that come in and are here, for 15 hours a day. We have 3 shifts of volunteers that are coming through.
Kind of make it seem like they have to volunteer for 15 hours a day.
Did, yeah.
So each volunteer shift is about, 4 to 5 hours? 5 hours, yeah.
3 shifts,
so we have
15.
3 shifts over a total of 15 hours in a day.
Most of them have come through the volunteer program at the Vancouver Aquarium, but many of them are people who have signed up online. We do have a link on our website. You can go on there and check and see. We're currently at capacity for this year for our recruiting, but we're doing a bunch of information sessions. So,
can we see more videos of Luna and Tofino playing together? This one I kept in here because I have a ton of these videos, which I will continue to share as we go on in social media. So you will be seeing more of them. And if you want to see up-to-date videos, that again is if you're following us here at VAMMRS, make sure you're also following the Vancouver Aquarium. We do have 2 separate accounts. So that is at Van Aqua. So anything more up-to-date will be on their account. Do you think that this year will be a busy baby seal season?
I think we're due for a busy year.
I was going to say, I feel like it's been a few years since we've had, I think that was 2017, 2018. We had those close to 200 or over 200 years. So we're probably due a busy season. Yeah. Busy seal seasons are fun. I can handle a busy seal season way better than I can handle a busy sea otter season.
I 100% agree. How many do you think we're going to get in this year?
If I had to guess, I'm going to say 130.
Yeah.
Not crazy high, but something in between.
Yeah. Well,
I think over 100.
I could do that.
I could see that happen. Yeah. Can we visit? Can people visit the center? And if not, do we have an online store or any way that people can support us?
Because our facility is a hospital, we like to maintain that. We do have some private tours that come in, but for the most part, it's not like an aquarium setting. Many of our patients who maybe aren't releasable are placed at the Vancouver Aquarium. So there is an opportunity to go to the Vancouver Aquarium and see many of our patients that have come through our program. It's a great opportunity to go over there. We do not have an online store. There is one, again, with our partners at the Vancouver Aquarium, who have an online store, but they also have the gift shop at the aquarium. And so we do have a section there that the aquarium does sell some merchandise for us.
We do have a section on our website, though, where you can symbolically adopt patients and support that way, which I'll make sure to put a link in this video or figure out how to do that somehow.
Somebody will do something about it.
Somebody will do something and we'll post it.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads into my next question that I have here. Can we visit Luna and Tofino?
Yes. Luna and Tofino are at the Vancouver Aquarium. They have been there since they were deemed non-releasable. So both those guys are there with 8 other sea otters that have been rescued, plus many of the other animals that we have rescued and have been non-releasable to. Senior Cinco,
Oh my God, Cinco.
who is a fan favorite. He's a California sea lion, which I think we'll talk
I think he's
about later.
worth going to the aquarium solely to see Cinco. If you see nothing else but that one sea lion, you've done your job.
Yeah, for sure. You're not supposed to play favorites, but he's pretty much mine.
We definitely don't have favorites, but if we did, it would be Cinco.
Definitely.
Okay. How do you deal with temperamental patients that might resist help or aggressive animals?
How do we deal with chemical sedation is our friend.
It is.
Some of our bigger animals, obviously, the best thing to do to be able to even do a physical exam on them, we do need to sedate them. You'd seen with our disentanglement program when we're out there in the wild removing marine debris off of some of those massive sea lions. It's because of chemical sedations. A lot of the little guys, it's quite humorous when they're trying to pretend to be all aggressive and they're not. So, some form of restraint, light restraint is pretty good. And our staff are trained and volunteers are trained to be able to deal with these animals.
A lot of the times when we get those seal pups coming in and they weigh like 6 kilos or 12 pounds and they're about this big, and it kind of just takes a couple hands to hold them still and someone can get in there really quick, and they're not usually happy about it. They try to bite. Some of them don't even have teeth yet, so like Lynn said, it's a little bit comical. You're like, oh, you're trying, but okay, this is a good one. What are some of the more uncommon or rare species that we've seen?
So rare species in the last, say 10 years, more recently, I would say Moira, our loggerhead sea turtle that we had come in 2024. Yeah, 2024, last February. So very uncommon to see loggerheads in British Columbia. In fact, at the time, she was the second recorded loggerhead coming into British Columbia, but that would be pretty rare. Yeah. Back in 2014, we admitted a false killer whale, calf, who came in that one summer. So that was a first for us anyway. Can you think of any other one?
Didn't come to the center, and you can speak to this, is a ribbon seal.
Oh, a ribbon seal. That was really neat.
A ribbon seal, right?
Yeah, ribbon seal. They're usually in the Bering Sea up way north. Very lost, was sighted in Richmond in the river, which is just basically where the Vancouver airport is. It's in that area there. We worked with fisheries to go, and we ended up wanting just to tag it because we're like, okay, great. We've got an opportunity to get some samples from it for scientific reasons, but also tag it in case it's found again. Yeah. And that animal was actually spotted quite a few times as south as Oregon. Yeah,
that is wild.
Which is insane.
Easy one. What's your favorite animal?
Can't really pick a favorite. Cinco. Yeah.
What do we feed the harbor seals?
Harbor seals, when they come in, most of them kind of less than a week old, some of them 24, 48 hours. So we feed them a high-fat, high-protein formula. It's a prefab formula that we get, and then we mix some salmon oil in there just to fatten it up even more and some vitamins. And they get that 5 times a day. Until they're at weaning stage, and then we'll slowly wean them onto herring. We will give them electrolyte solution when they first come in to rehydrate them or assist with the rehydration process. But yeah, the formula and then fish.
How does the number tag attach to the seal's head?
Such a great question. This is a question we often get.
Such a commonly asked question. Yes. Fair enough.
So for those who don't know, many of our patients that come through, once they get into the pools, we need some sort of way to identify them. These are animals that all look very similar. You're trying to feed them their vitamins or medication, and they're all staring at you. You have no idea who. So we came up with what we call our heart tags, which are, I think it's like a potato, or is it corn? Vegetable.
Potato starch, a vegetable starch of some sort.
That's been 3D printed. It's a material that's been 3D printed, and we have the number that correlates with the animal. It's placed on their heads with a non-toxic glue, and will come off when they molt, or even it might just break down over time with the salt water too. So,
we used to just try and identify them by their freckle patterns. Like, okay, well, Mittens has one white eyebrow and he needs this medfish. So this is much easier to be like, okay, Mittens is number 4. There's number 4. Here's your medication, or whatever the case is. But yeah, we definitely get a lot of questions where people are like, how dare you nail things to their heads? We don't do that. No. We're here to care for them. Yeah, it is completely painless,
non-invasive,
not harmful, biodegradable, all the good stuff you would want it to be.
Hydrodynamic.
Oh my gosh, it's adorable. The list goes on. Ooh, how often do sea otters eat?
Pups, they're about every hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, just depending on their age and their condition when they're first coming in. When adults come in, again, it all depends on their condition. They have such a fast metabolism. We're trying to get them so they can get some of that energy back. So we like to feed them every a couple hours to make sure that they're not, dipping and diving with their glucose levels and things. But adults, we can, for the first couple of days, we might do around the clock and feed them a little bit more, maybe supplement with some fluids, depending on how they're doing. But after that, it's every a few times a day, or probably up to about 5-6 times a day when they're stabilized.
Do you ever get tired of the cuteness?
No. I don't think you can. If you get tired of the cuteness and you're tired of the animals, then you got to go, am I in the right job? Yeah. Am I in the right industry? Agreed.
Will there ever be another 24/7 otter live stream like Joey's if we rescue another sea otter pup?
Yeah, we get this question a lot about the 24-hour. It potentially, our focus here is obviously hospital. So we're trying to get stuff done and it focuses on the animals.
Yeah.
We'd love to tell our story. We have this great social media, which is run by Kendra. And we're able to tell a lot of our stories that way.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, I can't say yes and I can't say no.
Okay, one of the last couple of questions. What kind of experience does the team have and what did we study or what kind of degree to get to where we are now?
Yeah, so the majority of the staff here at the rescue center are RVTs, so registered veterinary technicians. It's a great background for all of us to have. And then we mostly kind of branch off into different areas here. We also have people who have a research background, like science backgrounds, who are able to assist with that.
Sea otter pups, so under 6 months of age, they are typically non-releasable because they can be habituated and we can't, as humans, teach them what their mothers would in the wild. Why is it that we can release the harbor seals that come in at a day or two old and not?
Yeah. So typically, harbor seal pups only spend, say, 4 to 6 weeks with their mums. Sometimes maybe even a little bit longer, but not much. So sea otter pups do spend the 6 months with their mums. They're fairly dependent on their mums for that full 6 months. And for us to be those mums for 6 months, it's hard for us to be able to for them not to get habituated. Harbor seals, 4-6 weeks, we start weaning them about a month age. They start to go out into a big pool with their other cohort and start picking up bad behaviors. It's like kindergarten in there. They're picking up on each other's bad behaviors. They're fine. They're good to go for release.
The time they've hit that 22 kilos that we like to see, their minimum for release weight, they don't see a whole lot of us anymore. No. And we do that on purpose. We don't want to interact with them any more than we have to. And so by that time, they really want nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
And there's so much natural instinct with them. Like as soon as you open their kennel door, they're like, see ya, goodbye.
Yeah.
I will never go near a human again.
Yeah. Great candidates for rehabilitation.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that is all the questions that we have time for today. Like I said, if you guys enjoy this, if you want us to answer more questions and invite other people to come out and hang out with us, let us know in the comments. And we'd love to do this again soon.
Sure would.